A drug discovered in 1921 was sold to the public for $1, literally $1, because its inventors believed no one should die from not being able to afford it. Today, that same drug costs over $300 a vial, and 3 companies are responsible for all of it. This is the insulin cartel, and it's been running unchallenged for 30 years. Frederick Banting and Charles Best discovered insulin in 1921. They changed the world overnight. Before insulin, a type 1 diabetes diagnosis was basically a death sentence. These 2 men sold the patent to the University of Toronto for $1. $1. Their reasoning was simple: this drug needs to reach everyone. Fast forward to the 1990s, 3 pharmaceutical giants quietly take over the insulin market. Eli Lilly, Sanofi, Novo Nordisk. Together, they now control over 90% of the global insulin supply. That's not a competitive market, that's a triopoly, and they've used it to print money off sick people. Here's where the story turns dark. In 1996, a vial of Eli Lilly's Humalog cost $21. By 2020, that same vial cost over $300. That's a 1,400% price increase. And insulin hasn't changed that much. The manufacturing process hasn't gotten dramatically more expensive. So where did all that money go? The companies will tell you it's because of innovation. They kept tweaking the formula, slightly longer acting, slightly faster acting, and each tweak came with a brand new patent and a brand new price hike. These are called insulin analogs, and they're one of the most profitable sleight-of-hand moves in pharmaceutical history. You're not buying a better drug, you're buying a slightly modified drug that conveniently resets the patent clock and blocks generics from entering the market. The 2020 House Oversight and Reform Committee looked into this. Their report accused Eli Lilly, Sanofi, and Novo Nordisk of coordinated price increases. When one company raised prices, the others followed within days, not months, days. That's not coincidence, that's coordination. And the victims of this coordination are 34 million Americans with diabetes who need insulin to stay alive. This isn't optional medication. You can't just skip it. You can't shop around at a different grocery store. You need insulin or you go into diabetic ketoacidosis. Your body starts breaking down, organs fail, you die. So what happens when people can't afford $300 a vial? They ration it. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that nearly 1 in 4 diabetics in the United States has rationed insulin because of cost. 1 in 4. People are splitting doses, stretching 30-day supplies into 60 days, skipping injections and hoping for the best. And some of them don't survive that gamble. There are documented cases, real people with names and families, who died because they couldn't afford the next vial. Alex Smith was 26 years old. He aged off his parents' insurance. The insulin he needed cost over $1,000 a month. He tried to ration. He died 3 days before his next paycheck. This isn't a third world problem. This is happening in the wealthiest country on earth. So why hasn't anything been done? Because the pharmaceutical lobby is one of the most powerful forces in Washington. Between 2019 and 2020 alone, pharmaceutical companies spent over $300 million on lobbying. The Affordable Insulin Now Act, which would have capped insulin costs at $35 a month, failed to pass the full Senate. It got blocked. Some states moved on their own. Colorado capped insulin costs at $100 per month. A handful of others followed. And in 2023, Eli Lilly finally capped their out-of-pocket insulin price at $35, but only after years of public pressure, congressional hearings, and a wave of viral stories about people dying. Sanofi and Novo Nordisk announced similar caps shortly after. But here's the thing. Those caps are voluntary. They can be reversed. They don't fix the underlying system. The list prices are still sky high, which means insurance companies and pharmacy benefit managers are still paying inflated rates, and those costs get passed back to you in premiums. The cartel didn't collapse, it just got better PR. Remember that $1 patent? Banting and Best gave up their fortune so nobody would have to choose between insulin and rent. 90 years later, 3 corporations turned that gift into a 30-year profit machine. The drug that was meant to be free is now one of the most expensive necessities in America. That's not innovation, that's extortion with a prescription label. If this made you angry, good, follow this channel, because this is one of dozens of financial crimes happening right now that most people never hear about. Follow, and you'll never be caught off guard again.